Hey everyone, Fatty from Pack a Punch Traders here. Gonna go over my trades on the day and top plays for tomorrow. Should be a quick lesson. It was a pretty boring day. There really wasn't much spiking, just one play really, WINT. This one here was looking at it for a open price of VWAP per claim, and I just erred on the side of caution when I saw it. Quickly move from holding 22 here and pushing right to the 24 area. I just thought that was me chasing, so I was thinking let's wait and see if we get a higher low, something to minimize our risk. But this thing just blew right through and went from 24 to 32 in the next 10 minutes. Um, just an incredible play. I was looking for it to move from the 22.5 open price level to test at first 25, where on the daily chart we have a breakout level right here. And after that, resistance wasn't really until about 30. We're going to go to the next key level psychologically. There's a little bit at 27, which was pre-market highs. But if it had the momentum to break through, next level after that would be 30. So I saw a lot of volume, failure to break down. So that's why it was on watch and just wasn't able to capture the play. It just took off without me. Unfortunate for that to happen. But here's a more zoomed up look so you can really see. It made a nice higher low here, held 22. Right back above open price, gets above VWAP, and from there it starts pushing 24 and high a day. And I just don't want to chase, especially in this market environment, which I did end up doing on another play we'll go over. But I went in with such small size, and it was mainly because I was emotional because of missing out on WINT. So in this market environment, would definitely play things a bit more cautiously. Things aren't running as much. You're getting less plays in the morning on my scanners. What would usually be almost full of plays is maybe has 5 or 6 plays there. So definitely feeling that momentum shift I talked about recently. So WINT, I'm not going to spend much more time on it. It was a simple failure to break down. Shorts couldn't take over. Reclaimed key levels, open price, VWAP. Demand started coming in, and that led to the strong push to the next resistance area. And then it held up. Shorts failed to break it down again, and we got another push higher to the resistance area here. So it all makes sense. But yeah, WINT, missed that. I ended up taking HOTH. Similar setup, I understood also what I was risking. Here we have a low float, low market cap play. Looking like a double bottom, possible breakout play when I was getting it in the high 340s. Not a great entry level. So here we are. Get a strong burst right out of the open. And I see the failure to break down. Higher low, the hold of open price as it's holding above that zone. I'm not looking at the price level to hold alone. I'm looking for that whole zone because it doesn't have to come back all the way down to 298, 3-ish for me to think that it's holding. It can hold above as long as it's showing higher lows, any strength, just failure to break down. We're looking at that as confirmation. So here we are, holds the 320s, comes right back. And this is where I get emotional, thinking we got a super low float on our hands that just dipped with some decent volume, selling pressure, but it quickly disappeared and started ramping up. So I was looking at this as a pretty bullish indicator. I chased it at 349, just 300 shares, nothing crazy. I recognized that we're still first below the breakout level in the 370s here. So until it gets above that level and confirms the breakout, is going to be a choppy play. You're going to have bag holders selling their position, any short sellers coming through, anybody who was in early here, now they're selling. Whatever the case, until it really shows that it's getting above a breakout level, a key area, looking for it to push higher if there is strong demand behind it. That's what we're looking for, not an anticipation play. I was looking at this at first, open price hold, VWAP hold, to first at least test that breakout level, but ran into trouble pretty quickly. So about a $40 loss on this one, 300 shares, 349 to 336, I believe. But yeah, so that's HOTH. Just an emotional play because I missed out on WINT. Just trying to force something. The only good thing I did was go in with super small size. Then I took a stab at IVDA right out of the watch list. I am still in this. It's looking like I'm going to be swinging this overnight. Something I don't typically do. But it's holding up, showing some solid bottoming, and I have a very small position in this. So I'm not too concerned if it does end up failing. Oh well, I take $100, $200 loss at most if things get out of hand. But I'm not expecting that. Can't even talk. We're seeing some solid bottoming action in the 120s, 130s. Something I mentioned yesterday, what we're looking for. But volume just wasn't really there for this play today. So when it broke past high a day at 142, it just quickly got stuffed. But it never broke down. Continue to make higher lows and keep pushing. Had a fake out, got to 150, got stuffed. But as you can see, when it's trying to break out, there's no volume at all. So I'm thinking this price action, if it can continue, similar to TMDI from yesterday, where, one second, let's zoom in here, where at first the bounce play was not that strong. It was very low volume, but it kept holding up, and that just got people frustrated, led to buyers getting in as it's closing in and keeps making higher lows, showing some strength, but mainly short sellers are locking in profits as they've been in this for a while, and it's up, or in their case, they're up decently. If they're in it from the 30s, high 20s, now it's getting down to the 18, 19 area, and now it's failing to break down. Let's just lock in profits is probably how they're thinking, and that leads to this quick move. So thinking we can get something similar with IVDA, some bottoming here the past couple days, and we'll just see where it goes. Only 1,000 shares at 145, was never up much or down much, so pretty relaxed about this. Besides that, LLAP, I want to go over this one. This one is slightly bigger market cap. I'm more concerned about the float in this situation. It did have strong volume, but early on, I just wasn't a fan of this play. It doesn't really have the history of moving. If we go intraday, you can say, sure, it moved a bit, but not much. And let me go over how I'm approaching this. So we got a very slow mover. Sure, it's gapping up. Fantastic. But bigger market cap, bigger float. We'll need a lot of volume for it to give a push, which is likely why it took a lot longer to set up, and the move didn't really happen until midday. It just proved that it was failing to break down. Buyers kept propping this up. Eventually, shorts get squeezed. And if we're playing this as an open price VWAP reclaim, which it sets up pretty nicely, a little bit wider of a risk area, going off of 275, probably getting it in the low to mid 290s, a little bit wider than usual, but still not too bad. But here's the thing, it pushes roughly 15% or so. in a matter of 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more. It just, when I'm used to taking profits pretty quickly, taking 10, 15, 20% in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, something where I'm uneasy about it, I just don't want to be a part of it. We're already seeing the momentum in the market kind of shifting, so I'm not going to try and force a play on something I really don't feel comfortable with. Sure, there was HOTH, not a fantastic setup, but I've seen plays like this move. Something like LLAP, this is what I'm used to. You maybe get a quick little move, but ultimately you get a bunch of choppiness, a slow grinding play. After this 20-minute period, 30-minute period, it really does nothing. So, just wasn't a huge fan of it. That's really it. I just didn't like the float and market cap. This is what I expected. A slower play, took forever to set up, and never really took off. It didn't even get close to pre-market highs. It got stuffed at 345. Couldn't even get to 3.5. So this is what I usually expect out of these New York Stock Exchange plays. So this one early on, I could just tell the way it was moving. I wasn't going to like it. So that's why I ignored this play. For anyone who was wondering why, it looks like a fantastic open price VWAP claim. There was just too little boxes checked off, essentially. So that is that. I guess let's just get into top plays for tomorrow. Let me go over the watch list here. Alright, not a big watch list at all. I really don't have much to look at. Late day, yeah, here we got a more filled scanner. But going through each play, there really isn't much that's exciting me. Like ECX was a nice push today. Let's take a look. That happened in a weird fashion. There's no angle there. At this point, with this play, maybe just wait for the fade, look for a multi-day bounce. But yeah, I just don't really see a huge angle. I'm not going to add a bunch of plays on my watch list when the past few days we have seen how overall momentum is shifting. Not as many plays on the scanners, not as many plays running. So just going to play it safe. I've seen this before. So just going to be a bit more meticulous and just focus on some other plays. IVDA. Still looking for that bounce, as I talked about. Ideally, tomorrow we get it. If it doesn't do what I want in the morning, I'll be getting out of it. Hopefully that shapes up the way I would like. But still looking for that bounce play. Next up, IRNE. Showing some bottoming today. Most definitely we had volume exhaustion to the downside with that selling early on. And it just kept holding whole dollar, half dollar area, getting very choppy after a pretty one-sided move here. And we'll just see how this follows through. If it can continue to fail to break down and we get the volume we're looking for to trigger that momentum shift. So the three top plays here are familiar. I went over them yesterday. They were top plays from yesterday as well. So BOXD, still waiting on that breakout in the 70s where there's quadruple resistance here, pretty much. Quadruple top, excuse me. Just really waiting for that demand to come back. And like a broken record, without demand, play isn't going to be moving. That's what drives prices higher. And we've seen plenty of examples recently of that. So we'll learn from that and just wait for the volume to come back for this. But besides that,